What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a player announcement video. We didn't expect this yesterday evening that Liverpool are signing a brilliant Japanese 30-year-old very versatile midfielder, and loads of Liverpool fans were complaining about this signing, but he will not be our main first choice starting 11 beast of a defensive midfielder. He is the Henderson / James Milner replacement, and in this video you will get all the latest details, scouting analysis and Wataru Endo's numbers. But Fabrizio Romano was the first to break the news that Liverpool submitted a 15-16 million pound offer to Stuttgart, and Wataru Endo is their cult hero. He is a fantastic, very versatile midfielder who can play defensive midfielder, center midfield. He can play even center back and right back, and it looks like Wataru Endo is flying to Liverpool on a private jet for his medical. So this transfer will be announced either today or tomorrow, and I'm okay with this transfer if we back this up and sign Cheikh Doucouré or Florentino Ruiz, so a brilliant starting defensive midfielder and a left-sided centre-back, because this actually allows Liverpool to spend a lot more money on our first choice main defensive midfielder, because we still have around 100 million pounds left in our transfer budget. And in his position, Wataru Endo is actually one of the best players in the Bundesliga. He is one of Bundesliga's most unsung heroes. He's an absolute running monster. He has an engine like very few others. And remember, Liverpool don't always sign superstars. In fact, we prefer to sign underrated players who we can turn into superstars. And many people were complaining, why are we signing James Milner? But he became a Liverpool legend, and he became a very, very good servant for Liverpool. And Jurgen Klopp, even at the end of last season, said that we need somebody for this James Milner role, an experienced player. We have too many young midfielders. After last season where we had too many old midfielders, this season it looks like we have too many young midfielders. So Wataru Endo at 30 years old, he's the captain of Japan as well. He's a natural reader, he's a scorer of very important goals, and he is going to be a terrific asset for Liverpool. This is what a Bundesliga expert said about Wataru Endo. And listen to this, Wataru Endo, since the start of the 2021 season in the Bundesliga against Bundesliga midfielders, he has won most possession in the defensive third of the pitch, 254 times. He has the most aerial duels won. He's only 5'10" tall, but he's very good in the air. He won 219 aerial duels, and in the last 3 seasons he has the most headed clearances, 105, second most touches, 6,511, second most passes completed, second most possession won in the middle final third, and second most tackles won in the whole of Bundesliga when it comes to Bundesliga midfielders. So guys, if you are excited about this transfer, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Half of you guys watching these videos are unsubscribed. We are itching closer to 140,000 subscribers, and let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about this signing? And remember, Wataru Endo played for a primarily defensive-minded team, a smaller team in Stuttgart. They were fighting against relegation last season, and remarkably there were only 4 players, Musiala, Szoboszlai, Moussa Diaby and Rafael Guerreiro, who created more chances from open play than Endo in the Bundesliga last season. So the people who are scoffing at this signing, the people who are saying Endo is not good enough, why are we signing a 30-year-old from a relegation candidate in the Bundesliga? Check out his stats and watch actually how he plays, because if you watch the Bundesliga regularly, and I watch the Bundesliga regularly, I play the fantasy football Bundesliga version as well for the last 2 years, and Endo has been in my team sometimes because he's a points machine in the fantasy Bundesliga side. And also last season he ranked 4th with goals scored from outside of the box, with 3 goals scored from outside of the box. He also completed a lot of passes, final third passes completed. He ranked in the top 14 players in the Bundesliga He also created 46 chances from open play, and as I said, only 4 players created more chances from open play, which is very, very impressive. Remember, Stuttgart is not a dominant team in the Bundesliga. He also completed 5 through balls, which ranks him in 11th place. You can't just sign young players with great potential. You also need some experience in your side. And I said for long that I would sign a more experienced defensive midfielder and a young defensive midfielder. But maybe I thought the more experienced will be our starting defensive midfielder. It looks like it will be the other way around. If we sign Doucouré for 70 million, and Endo for 15 million. That's 85 million for the 2 defensive midfielders combined. That's still less than what we bid for Moises Caicedo. So I think this is a very, very smart transfer by Liverpool. And actually, Wataru Endo is in a lot of metrics, he's better than Fabinho. He's better in goal scoring, in shot accuracy, in assists, in chances created, in duels contested, in fouls conceded, and in ground duel success rate. Plus in clearances. In all these metrics, Wataru Endo is actually better than Fabinho, which is really, really impressive. And Liverpool got him for a pretty reasonable price, given he's 30 years old. He only has 1 year left on his contract. But remember, he's one of the most important players of Stuttgart, so I'm sure Stuttgart didn't really want to lose him. And he leaves it all on the pitch. He's an absolute workhorse, a dynamo. He's exactly the high energy, high work rate, high intensity defensive midfielder that Liverpool love to have. And he will also inspire his teammates to defend, to harass the opposition. Watch when he starts high pressing the opposition. It's infectious. It will get other players to work harder in defense. One of the biggest problems for Liverpool last season was we didn't defend with intensity. We didn't harass the other team with intensity. We didn't press the other team with as much vigor, as much intensity as we used to have. Wataru Endo is a cult hero of Schalke. He's an incredible player. He's not a flashy player, but he will work very well in Jurgen Klopp's system. He's exactly the type of midfielder that thrives in this high intensity, high work rate Jurgen Klopp system. And what is also very impressive is that Wataru Endo is almost never injured. I don't want to jinx it, but he missed 1 game throughout the last 2 seasons with injury, which is absolutely remarkable. So he's always available, always ready to be called upon. And also, he will be happy sometimes to sit on the bench. He won't throw up a fuss if he doesn't start every game. Dan Kennett on Twitter compared Manu Kone, one of Liverpool's transfer targets, with Wataru Endo, a player that Liverpool are about to sign. They run the same distance per 90 minutes, 11 kilometers. They have the same intensive runs, 70 per 90 minutes. Same sprints, 16. Also, Wataru Endo won 13.5 duels per 90 minutes, and he has a slightly lower top speed of 32.2 kilometers per hour. But Wataru Endo is much better aerially. He doesn't have injury concerns that Manu Kone has. Of course, Manu Kone is a lot younger. He's like 23 years old. Wataru Endo is 30. But Wataru Endo can still play at the top level for 2 or 3 years at least. Maybe even more. I mean, look at James Milner. Who thought that James Milner would end up playing for Liverpool for 7 years when we signed him for 30, when he was 30 years old? And Stuttgart sporting director Sven Mislintat said this about Wataru Endo. As a player and as a certain, he's simply incredibly valuable. He's one of these anchors, a focal point in our system. Whether he plays as a centre-back or as a defensive midfielder, it's good that he's there and he performs. It's important for me that our captain can take everyone with him, that he embodies the values we stand for, and he's an example to follow. I have chosen Wataru Endo because he's also someone who leaves room for other players to take responsibility. And now Liverpool will have 5 national team captains in our side. Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai, Andy Robertson, and now Wataru Endo. 5 captains in the Liverpool side, in the Liverpool squad. It's really important because we lost Henderson, we lost Milner, 2 big leaders in the dressing room. And also an interesting statistic, Jurgen Klopp always had a Japanese player when he has won a league title. When he won the 2 league titles with Dortmund, they had Kagawa, Japanese player, and when Liverpool won the Premier League title with Jurgen Klopp, they had Minamino in their squad. So maybe a Japanese player is an omen of good luck for Jurgen Klopp, and hopefully Liverpool will be able to win the title with Wataru in the team in the next 2 or 3 years. Wataru also took it upon himself to pose more of a goal threat. And last season he played 40 games for Stuttgart, scoring 6 goals and getting 5 assists in all competitions. And that's actually very impressive from a player who mainly plays as a defensive midfielder, but he can play right back and centre back. He started off his career in the Japanese league for Shonan Bellmare, and then he went to Urawa Red Diamonds, and then for a pretty low fee he was signed by St. Truden in the Belgian Pro League, and then Stuttgart first loaned him in and then signed him permanently, and in the last 3 seasons he played on average 36 games, and actually he scored 3, 4 and then 6 goals for Stuttgart. And this season he already has 1 goal in 1 game in the German Cup he scored for Stuttgart. So he's actually a pretty good goal scoring player as well, and he can score some very, very important goals. He also played 50 times for the Japanese national team, scoring 2 goals, and he was very, very good in the World Cup as well, when Japan actually knocked out some big teams. He won some trophies when he was playing over there in Japan. He won the J-League Cup, and he also won the Asian Champions League with Urawa Red Diamonds in 2017. So he's already a Champions League winner in Asia. Let's hope he can do the same, maybe win a European trophy as well. And this is what Sky Sports is saying about Wataru. He's a reliable performer who will be determined to seize this opportunity. This is the biggest opportunity in his career, and he will take it with both hands. He's an expert in the holding role who can contribute to both the defensive and offensive phase of the game. There are no question marks over his character. Just ask anyone who worked with Wataru. Mario Gomez recently gave an interview and he said, "I love Wataru, to be honest. Wataru sat next to me in the dressing room and he had a really hard time because the coach did not use him at the beginning when he signed. But then his work rate and his tenacity showed the coach that he is good enough to start for Stuttgart, and he never looked back. He was ever present for Stuttgart after he got into the team. And when Wataru finally came into the Stuttgart team, he was fantastic. He played fantastic. That's why he's not playing. He's playing not because I told the coach that he's great, it is because he's a really great player. And now he's the captain of Stuttgart, of course, after getting the captaincy of the Japan national team as well. And Mario Gomez regards Wataru as an example of how team sport should look. Because of his attitude, someone who's always giving everything for the group. Wataru is never stressed, he's always calm, but he's always the hardest worker in the team. And Jurgen Klopp will love his combative approach. This is a player who's ranked 6th last season for duels won in the Bundesliga. He's in the past 3 seasons, he's one of only 3 players to make 200 tackles, one of only 2 players to win the ball back 400 times in the middle of the pitch. So he might not be your archetypical big, strong, muscular defensive midfielder, but he's still a very, very good player. And because he's a little bit of a shorter frame, he's quite quick as well. And what makes him a very interesting player for Jurgen Klopp's team is that his in-possession game is good enough to thrive in the Premier League as well. Endo can be much more than a mere destroyer. When he wins the ball back, he can distribute the ball very well as well. His passing statistics are solid, there is creativity there too. As I said, there are only 4 players last season who created more chances from open play than Wataru in the Bundesliga last season. He can get forward to press and to pass, essential even for the more defensive players in a Jurgen Klopp team. Endo won the ball back 22 times in the final third last season, and he also scored twice from Stuttgart counter-attacks. He even scored 3 goals from outside of the box. And what I love what I love about this player is that no player has started more games than Endo in the past 3 seasons in the Bundesliga. So he's the most reliable player when it comes to starting games. And this is the sort of robustness that Jurgen Klopp will require. And this is not an Arthur Melo type of signing. He was a very injury-prone player. When we signed him on loan, he was injured. Wataru Endo just played on the weekend and scored in the German Cup, and as I said, he played the most amount of times for Stuttgart in the Bundesliga out of any team, which is really, really impressive. So I really hope that you guys got a really good insight into what kind of a player Wataru Endo is. And I will be honest, I didn't know a lot about him, but I knew a lot more than the average Liverpool fan, because I watch the Bundesliga regularly and I play the fantasy Bundesliga game as well. But doing a deep research about Wataru Endo, the more I learned about him, the more excited I got about him. And I think he will fit in very, very well at Liverpool. And Liverpool fans will love his work rate. Liverpool fans will love his ball distribution and just him as a player. He could become a cult hero at Liverpool because of his brilliant attitude. And we need players like him who are infectious with their work rate and attitude. And he's another very dynamic, very intense, hard-working midfielder, and we badly missed those kind of players last season. And I mean, if I had to choose between Romeo Lavia for £60 million or Wataru Endo for 15 million, I would always choose Wataru Endo, because Lavia is potential, but he's a lot more expensive, 4 times as expensive as Wataru Endo. Wataru Endo is already ready to play in the first team. I mean, he could, if he's registered by Friday noon, he can start against Bournemouth. I think he would fit in very, very well into this Liverpool system. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.